I'm Chris Berman. Let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Colts stroll away with a 14-point win. Michael Clayton had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. We had a big trade also of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
We'll shift gears now just a little and have a look at a few trades that should certainly be of interest. Simeon Rice leaves the Buccaneers and is on the move to the Cowboys. And it's clear this was an area of their football team that needed somebody. In exchange, they'll get someone to beef up their roster. Leroy Glover gives them a little more beef up front, as they'll be used primarily as a run stopper, it would seem.
Terry Glenn hauled in over 150 yards receiving and helped his Cowboys beat the Chargers. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Boomer, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. This guy sticks out on this list as one of the more costly injuries. He'll be out for the rest of the season. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own mash unit. Dat Win is probably the one that most leaps out at you. A hairline fracture of the arm is the initial report, and the doctors are saying he'll be out for 5 weeks. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Vikings pick up their first win of the year. Panthers, 49ers. Kiri Colbert is set to get the kick at his own 15. Juggles just a moment. Jumps outside, gets a block downfield by the midfield stripe, and you know he's got jets. He could go all the way 85 yards. The Panthers go on to win this by the final score of 38-31. Down in the Lone Star State in Houston, we had the Texans get sent away with a 7-point loss. Down at Pro Player Stadium, we had the Dolphins come away with a 7-point win. The Broncos airmailed 300-plus yards in their victory at Invesco Field at Mile High. The Titans won at home, but will take to the road next week to meet the Jaguars. Eric Mould had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. Redskins, Eagles. Brian Westbrook is backed up in his own territory. He tries to bounce outside. He'll have the first down. Shakes another tackle, goes down the sidelines. Wait a minute. Yes, the ref said his feet were in. He could go all the way, 73 yards. The Eagles win this one by the final score of 20-17. Santana Moss pulled down 100-plus receiving yards and helped his Jets beat the Bears. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Chiefs pick up win number 2. Up in the Motor City, Detroit, we had the Lions win by a comfortable margin. Over at Edward Jones Dome, we had the Rams prove ineffective and lose by 21. And in our final game, we had the Seahawks come away victorious. So, 2 weeks into the books here on ESPN, here's my prime time performers for week number 2, and each is going to get a game ball. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.